Good morning students. Welcome to eSuvidya. Hope you all are fine and safe. Students, in the previous class we have studied up to the third stanza of the poem When I Grow Up. Today we will discuss the last two stanzas of the poem When I Grow Up. The fourth and the fifth stanza today we will discuss. So, in the previous classes, students, we have discussed that the poet do not want to stick to a particular profession. He wants to try various professions or occupations in his life. Take for example, in the initial stage, he reveals his desire or he shows his desire to become a detective or a person who investigates crime, and he wishes that he must have a master key with which he can open a number of locks. And also we have seen that the poet accepts various challenging jobs like the job of a soldier, the job of a sailor, and also when the poet tells that he wants to become a keeper at a Nandankanan Zoo. You know that Nandankanan Zoo is located in our state capital Bhubaneswar. So when the poet expresses his desire to become a keeper at Nandankanan Zoo, it shows his love for animals. And also we have discussed that the poet wants to own a trumpet, a brass wind musical instrument, and also he wants to play a musical tune of his own. And lastly we have seen that the poet expresses his desire to become an astronaut or cosmonaut, or he wants to travel to space with his own private spaceship. He wants to become a space traveler. He wants to become a space traveler by owning a private spaceship. So up to this portion we have discussed in the previous class. Today we will recite the fourth and the fifth stanza of the poem and we will discuss it. In the fourth stanza of the poem, the poet tells that I would like to be driver. I would like to be the driver of an express diesel train, or be a lighthouse keeper where I want and when. So here the poet also accepts the challenging jobs. He wants to become the driver of an express diesel train. You know, in the initial stages, the steam locomotives were running, and you know the first railway lines were drawn by the Britishers in India, or led by the first railway lines were led by the Britishers in India from Bombay to Thane. And in the initial stages, the steam engines were running. Later, the diesel engines in the presently, where the electricity connectivity is there, maximum trains runs with electricity except the areas where the electricity communication is not, electricity connection is not available. So here the poet expresses his desire to run a diesel express train, and it is a challenging job to run a diesel express train or to run a diesel locomotive. It is surely a challenging job. So you see that a diesel train runs with the fuel diesel fuel it runs. So, and also the poet wants to become a keeper, lighthouse keeper, he tells where I want and when I want to become a lighthouse keeper. You know that what is a lighthouse? Generally, a lighthouse remains just near the seashore, a tower with a light at the top, and generally it remains at the seashore. It is a lighthouse. A lighthouse has two important purposes. Like one is navigational aid. It works as a navigational aid. A lighthouse works as a navigational aid, or it warns ships. It warns ships of dangerous areas. In the sea. So a lighthouse serves two important purposes. First of all, it works as a navigational aid, and also it warns the ships of dangerous areas. It is just like a lighthouse is just like a traffic sign on the sea. So here the poet also wants to accept the challenging job of a lighthouse keeper. And in the last stanza of the poem, we will see that the poet reveals the secret of trying various occupations. We have seen that the poet tries various occupations. And in the last stanza of the poet shows the reason, or the poet reveals the secret of trying various occupations, or why the poet is not satisfied with a particular occupation. He reveals in the last stanza of the poem. In the last stanza of the poet says, for the more one lives, the more one learns. So here he reveals the reason of trying various occupations. For more one lives, the more one learns. It means whenever a person is trying various occupations, it is providing the opportunity to that person to learn from that occupation. So when the poet expresses his earnest desire to try various occupations, it means he wants to learn from the various occupations. He has a desire to learn from the various occupations. So for more one tries, for more one learns, I think I will be all these things and go on taking turn. What do you mean by taking turn? Taking turn means one after another. Taking turn means one after another. Or when we do something in turns. When we do something one after another, when we do something in turns, it is called taking turns. So here the poet is telling that he wants to accept various occupations. He wants to try into various occupations. He don't want to stick to a particular occupation because he wants to learn from every occupation. Because every occupation provides him the opportunity to learn something from this. So in the last stanza of the poet reveals the secret of trying various occupations and not sticking to a particular occupation. He shows the reason for trying various occupations. That the more one lives, the more one learns. Means whenever we are trying various occupations, we are getting the opportunity to learn more things. So students, today we have discussed the poem. Now let us see some new words from the 4th and 5th stanza of the poem. The first new word is from the 4th stanza is lighthouse. So first one is lighthouse. So what is a lighthouse? Tower with light at the top. At the seashore. At the seashore. To guide ships. So what is a lighthouse? A lighthouse is a tower with light at the top, at the seashore, to guide ships. So we may use it into meaningful sentences like a lighthouse is like a traffic sign on the sea. A lighthouse is like a traffic sign on the sea. We may use it into another sentence. There is a lighthouse at the Chandrabhaga beach. There is a lighthouse at the Chandrabhaga beach. The next one is lighthouse keeper. Next one is lighthouse keeper. Lighthouse keeper. Lighthouse keeper is a worker in the lighthouse. A worker in the lighthouse is a lighthouse keeper. So we may use it in a meaningful sentence. In 90s, the 3 lighthouse keepers went missing in mysterious situations and were never found. In 90s, the 3 lighthouse keepers went missing in mysterious situation and were never found. Then the next one is diesel train. So what is it, diesel train? A rail runs with a rail engine, which runs with diesel fuel. which runs with a diesel fuel. So we may use it in a meaningful sentence. The cost of running diesel trains has risen sharply because of global increase in fuel price. The cost of running diesel trains has risen sharply because of increase in the global oil price. So this diesel train, a rail which runs with diesel fuel. The last word is taking turn. Last word is taking turn. Taking turn. Taking turn means one after another. One after another. Or to do something. To do something in turns. So taking turn means one after another or to do something in turns. So we may use it into meaningful sentence. Mohan and I take turns to take the dog for a walk. Mohan and I take turns to take the dog for a walk. So students, today we have completed the poem When I Grow Up. So you recite the poem at least 3 times of your own. Try to find out the new words and try to use it into meaningful sentences of your own. Thank you. Have a nice day.